Hello and good evening, and yes, you are back with the crew. Many of you were wondering, what happened to that video, Alan? I don't know. We had to delete it. It was terrible sound. Those of you who saw it, I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. This evening's video is going to be better sound. I can tell already because I've done 5 tests, and I think we're there. So hopefully I'm not blowing your ears out. It turns out I bought a new cable. The cable out of the box straight from China was bad, right? Like, who would have guessed? Who could have ever guessed that, a $10 cable would be, bad? That's the world we live in. Well, anyway, this evening's video, this morning, as you're going to see this, I want to talk about the FTC, and I want to talk about the SEC, and I want to talk about the 166 pages, and I want to talk about what it means to you and I. I want to say something that is not just revolutionary when it comes to anybody that owns XRP. This is a concept that you probably thought of, probably already heard of it, probably watched 10 shows on it. However, this perspective of what I'm about to tell you comes from a trader's background, comes from a man who used to play or dabble in Wall Street as an employee, has dealt with the SEC, has dealt with banking institutions and financial, how do I put it? Financial entities that control the markets, who gets to make money, who doesn't get to make money. And yes, you and I get to dabble in the little shallow kiddie pool. That's what you and I get to play in. Well, crypto came along and said, oh, well, we get to maybe move up all the way up to the 3-foot deep section. Because, they're just going to have to deal with the way we do things. All of that came from DeFi, DEXs, MMs, all of that trading ability that came to all the crypto brokerages was frowned upon, thrown out with they came after us. I guess what I'm trying to spit out right there, I just couldn't. They came after us, and that's over. The big points in that 166-page document, the ones that really stand out is self-custody. You have the right. Here in the US, these are important things. You have the right to self-custody. No CBDCs. All brokerages, include not just crypto brokerages, all brokerages are allowed to have, I'm going to call it DeFi, okay? For now, because it's a broader thing, they're able to use DeFi, okay? But the fourth one that really a lot of people didn't really kind of wrap their head around was when you allow banks to use DeFi to generate income for the people that own the crypto. They're going to pay the people that own the crypto to keep the crypto. That's big. That was in the document. If you guys watch my Thursday night shows, you already understand all that I've been talking about the bank role, people's role in the banks. So when you got the CFTC and you have the SEC coming and saying, we're all in, we're going to run this thing, we love the way this thing's going, you're going to be able to make money on money. Now these brokerage houses are saying, we have to provide income for the people that own these coins. That's you and I. Today, in today's world, there's so many coins that would be really good at DeFi, but then there's the other, 18 million of them that would be terrible at it. Good news for you XRP holders, you're one of the first category. All of these, I'm going to call them originally an arbitrage trade. The differences between the buy and the sell wall, all of that is good news for all of us. That will tighten over time, more volume. The tighter that spread's going to get, the more complicated, more difficult it's going to get for them to make DeFi returns. But the beautiful part, when you start talking about the liquidity that comes into these exchanges, and I'm talking about like BlackRock, I'm talking about big financial institutions, they have a little thing about hedging, and they love to hedge trade. The hedge trade is a perfect DeFi product. They've been salivating over this for, I don't know, the last 3 or 4 years, waiting for the opportunity to say, oh, we can go there? You mean we're allowed to do that here? Do you realize that that's like, not only does the client win, the house wins, and we get to make, I don't know, ridiculous returns on a safe, structured, hedged financial position. And all we really need is the terrible little word that everybody in crypto has been told that you're the problem because you have volatility. Oh, you mean volatility is a good thing? Yeah, because if you're talking about making an arbitrage trade between price A and price B, high and low, the spread gets tighter and tighter, and particularly the less volatility you have. So the more vol you have, the bigger that spread becomes. And then boom, 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 your DEXs start cleaning house. That's where you and I come in, because most people don't have 10 or 20 or 30,000 XRP laying around. You do. You even have a whole lot more than that, many of you. What does that tell you? You got 10,000, that means you have $30,000 of potential earnings. It's going to earn you money. These are going to be safe and secured structures. How do I know that? Because it said right in the document that this is legal in America. Well, what if it's not? What do you mean it's not? It's in the document. All of these brokerages understand that. The advantage that Coinbase had and Binance had is over. And these players are coming in with multitudes of billions in volume because it's free, easy money for them. Now, that's the little deeper part of the pool. Then, we started off in the kitty, with the little floaties, and then we ended up getting a little deeper, and we're still not at the deep end of the pool. Of course, the very deep end of the pool, banks aren't truly into. The deep, dark abyss is really, well, let's just say those are funds that and it's even above the Federal Reserve. That's for a different video. For this video, we're headed towards the deep end of the pool, and leverage is not necessary with crypto. You're not going to need to leverage your coins and say, oh, well, I have 10 times as much. And I don't mean to insult anybody, that's for the traders. And the traders are going to figure out that there's risk. This is what this video is about. There's risk in trading. You have to pick a winner. You have to pick a direction. And if you get the direction wrong, you get the trade wrong, and then you lose your trade. Gone. Done. We're now talking about pools, liquidity pools that need liquidity, and they need your coins as the liquidity, and they're going to pay you to do it. And now that it's legal, that means we have enforcement who are on our side when somebody tries to steal said liquidity coin. Wow, no way. You mean the actual governing body, the CFTC and the SEC, the governing body, are going to come after the people that are attacking people with crypto? Correct. That's their true job. That's what they do, is make sure that there aren't Bernie Madoffs in the industry or institutions ripping people off who have crypto. Why? Because it's in the laws now. It's part of the laws. Understand how significant that is. We have now enforcement on our side. They're going to come after these bad players. And the bad players, in this man's tinfoil hat opinion, are not simply, scammers are hackers. There's big players. I know, it's hard for everybody to believe. You know, everybody's so honest in Wall Street. Those market manipulators, it's one word for market makers, have always hedged. You're going to be able to hedge with them because you're going to be the liquidity for the hedging. Because the product now is now a commodity in the CFTC market. And the product now is a crypto product. They're not telling you it's a security. In fact, they've told you in that document that even stable coins are not a security. And they've essentially said the top 10 coins, in particular our favorite little coin, we already know that we're not a security. We already went 4 years of that. And by the way, in the next week, 2 weeks, it's going to be proven to the whole world that we're not a security. Okay? So who's going to govern that? Not the SEC so much anymore. Now, if you're a commodity, you're going to be CFTC, and they're going to control, and they're going to decide who's violating you and I's crypto rights. They're violating our crypto rights, and we're going to get good men like John Deaton and many other great attorneys on our side, and we're going to say, Your Honor, they're coming after us again, and we will not have it. And by the way, over the next probably 3.5 years anyway, we're going to have people in the White House, people in the financial institutions who are going to say, we agree, we wrote this intentionally to make sure that that ended, no longer violating the people of crypto. You and I are now a legitimate financial institution. They have legitimized us. We have all the legal rights of a bank. We have all the legal rights of a securities exchange. We have all the rights of a crypto exchange. In fact, in some ways, you have more rights than that now, because you're innocent Joe Citizen who says, hey, you know what? I was trading on this platform. I submitted my coins. My coins were working for me. I was running this DEX, and now all of a sudden this DEX blew up. Who stole all the money? Well, we'll get to the bottom of who took the money, and we'll get the money back. This, I know, sounds crazy to all of you that we've come that far, but we have. We're there yet. You know, when the kids are constantly saying, are we there yet? We're there. We got there. It's very important to picture, where do we go from there, Alan? I talk about it on my Thursday night shows all the time. Now comes leverage. That's right, leverage. Who's gonna lever up? Financial institutions are going to lever up because why? They're hedge traders. They never lose. If you've got the long and the short, you don't have to pick a direction. You're making money either way because you're ticking off the middle of the buy wall and the middle of the sell wall, and tink, tink, tink every day, all day long. You like that little tink thing? That right there is the sweet spot of volatility and velocity that these brokerages thrive on. So what can they do? They are going to lever up. They're going to legally be able to lever up and trade all of this. And they're going to say, well, it's a legal avenue for us. We don't even have to do the futures contracts anymore, or any of the contracts. What they can do is in-house. Because who are they? Financial institutions. They have a bank. They are a bank. They're good for the money. And they have a guaranteed winning trade. What is that going to do in the long run for crypto? Think about this. What is it going to do? What is it going to do? Is it going to be Well, that's right. Can you say trillions headed our direction? Because it's no different, okay? It's no different than the markets in which they've been doing with real estate, banking, with stocks, with all the commodities forever and ever and ever and ever. They levered up on a guaranteed trade. It's just like the carry trade. It's the same thing. Carry trade is a guaranteed trade for them. Well, so is hedging. Hedging's always been a guaranteed trade. But they've never been able to legally do that with crypto. And a lot of people, they're like, well, oh, that's not that big a deal, Alan. I said, do you understand what hedging is? It's a guaranteed trade. So if you're worried about all of that, I don't know, carry trade, please don't. They've backed out of those. 6 months ago when they got the warning sign, they've been backing out of those. And what are they going to do? They're going to go to the brand new derivatives market. What is the brand? This man said 5 years ago, if it was a day, I said, the derivatives market will be consumed by crypto. That's what those 160 pages said. Boom. Your hundreds of trillions of dollars. You and I think about crypto honestly. We say, oh, well, our pensions and our 401ks and those $200 trillion pools will buy them and hold them. Yes, absolutely correct. How much bigger is the derivatives market than that? Hundreds? Yeah, it's in the quads. The derivatives market will be consumed by crypto. It will go into crypto. I've been talking about this for long before I had a channel. And how do I know that? And why do I think that way? Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so a derivative basically is a hedge. Basically, they go, okay, well, we think this thing's going to go this much volume. We'll put out a contract saying that we bought this item and we'll send its value, its digital value, to another guy who says, oh, wow, I like it at that value. I'll take those $1 billion worth of digital, fake, whatever the commodity is. It's just a contract. There's nothing to it. It's one man's promise to pay a hedged trade to another person at said price. And that derivatives gets packaged up by the new house who says, oh, wow, I like that number too, but I think it's a little steep because it's been leveraged, hedged, and derivatized, if that is a word, 3 times over. And by the time the third or fourth person gets it, it's a little frothy. And what do? They sell it the other direction. That's your derivatives market. And the entire thing is skimming tenths of points off of a point. What does crypto do to that? It makes all of that AMM markets, DeFi, instantaneous for all of those trades. But what else does it do? Gee, that was a sentence or 5 or a page or 3 in the 166 pages. What does it do to it? Bingo. It makes it real. Instead of a written paper digital contract between this clearinghouse and this clearinghouse, well, what did you guys trade? Well, we traded whether or not this, they made derivatives markets on whether or not your grandmother was going to fall asleep before 9 p.m., okay? It was on everything. How do you make them real? You make them tokens. You take something that is a concept, a financial product that is simply air, and you give it a token. And you tokenize it. And Mr. Fink has been saying this for 2 or 3 years now. And this man was saying they were going to do that 5, 6, 7 years ago. I was saying one day they're going to tokenize the derivatives market. And when they do, the astronomical returns to all cryptos. And I was even saying that before I even knew what DeFi was. Combined with the DeFi market, hedging and trading and derivatives market, it will absolutely outshine everything that's ever been created on a financial product on this planet ever, times 10. That big enough for you? That's what I thought. That's where we're going. Skip just, oh, well, Apple's going to tokenize all their coins. Yeah, that's big. Sure, of course, that's big, right? And, whatever. Whichever stock you want to go with. Yeah, that's big. Derivatives market? Making it real? Making it physically, you can see it on a computer screen, and we know how many of them there are because you can't use any more than those. And then when you transact from this clearinghouse to this clearinghouse, it might just be XRP in the middle. Boom. How big is that? Very. How much fun is that for you and I? Very. How big is that going to get? Is that going to happen next week? Of course not. Have they already thought about this in their minds? Clearly. They're going to legitimize all of it. And then they're going to capitalize on it, all of it. And then they're going to try and sell you a fake derivative of the coin in which you own. We're not going to let that happen. And that's what that law said. You now have the backing of the SEC that these financial institutions cannot steal your coins from you just because JP Morgan has determined that all of a sudden they're Mr. Crypto and they're going to get in there and steal your bag. Not happening, guys. Not happening. Well, at least for the next 3.5 years, right? New regime, new rules. Who knows? Hope you guys understood what I was talking about there. It's kind of complex, but on the other hand, I try and explain it as simple as possible. That's really what I like doing, and I love you all. I'm going to get out of here. It's cooking hot inside this room, and I hope the audio was good because I don't want to have to do that one over again, but I would for you guys. You know that. All right. Love you all. I am out. Who knew that I would actually like a derivative? I didn't see that coming. That one clocked me from behind. Just think, quadrillions towards crypto. Yes, sir, and ma'am, you're in the right place. Love y'all.